Welcome to News Now Alberta. This is Special Ed. Today we're looking at a cop that murders a 71-year-old man.
It was a brutal punch that proved to be fatal.
Officer Brown was the aggressor.
What you want to do? What you want to do?
The Detroit police officer charged for killing an elderly man outside of a bowling alley.
Stands accused of killing an elderly man by punching him in the face.
Welcome back to the Lackluster Channel. On September 1st of 2023, Officer Juwan Brown of the Detroit Police Department was dispatched to a local establishment for a report of a man who wouldn't leave the sidewalk in front of a bowling alley. Surveillance and body cam footage exists, but has not been made available to the public.
This is a call about a man on a sidewalk not wanting to leave. He does not have to leave. He's on the sidewalk, public property.
How you doing today?
Police were called to the Garden Bowl in Midtown just after 6 p.m. The 70-year-old Vance was drunk and belligerent, staff said, and refused to leave.
You're walking down the sidewalk. You put your hands on me again, and it's gonna be some.
A witness described Vance as smelling of alcohol and unsteady on his feet. At the beginning of the interaction, Officer Brown is calm, but as Vance continues to be uncooperative, the officer pulls out his taser.
What you want to do? What you want to do? Get your hands on me. I'll light you up. And I'm gonna knock your mother. Oh, so I ain't gonna put my hands on you. But I'm gonna light you up. Now I can break your jaw, or you can walk.
So right away, this cop is threatening him with force, punching him in the face. Like, these are all premeditated to what he did.
As more time passes, Officer Brown appears more impatient. At one point, he pushes Vance into a man walking down the street. Seconds later, Brown puts his hand out to touch Vance, and a few seconds after that, he does it again. Not long after, Officer Brown assumes a fighting stance.
So that second push was just a start fight. Just a little push, just look what I did. And then he takes a fighting stance, like he wants to fight the guy. All premeditated stuff. And a judge couldn't see that.
What's up? You ain't doing it like that.
After being punched, Vance lay motionless in the street after striking his head on the pavement.
At no point during the encounter did Officer Brown try to de-escalate. A witness claims that Daryl Vance's lifeless body was sprawled out in the street for 20 minutes without medical assistance before EMTs arrived. He was left unconscious for 3 weeks after being struck down by Officer Brown, dying in the hospital as a result. Officer Brown was suspended with pay the day after the incident, and over a month later, the Board of Police Commissioners finally met to vote on revoking his pay.
Commander Michael McGinnis, Professional Standards. We're here at the Chief's behest to request that you approve his request to change Officer Juwan Brown's duty status from currently he is suspended with pay to admin leave without pay but with medical benefits. Officer Brown received and responded to a police run for a disturbance about an individual who was refusing to leave the establishment. Officer Brown asked the individual to leave several times, and then unfortunately, instead of de-escalating, Officer Brown escalated the situation, which resulted into an unnecessary use of force, which then rendered the victim in this incident, a black male, 70 years old, unconscious. That individual remained unconscious for several weeks until he expired on September 21st.
So he was on the sidewalk and not in the business. So you're kind of covering up for him. And without pay but with benefits? What the hell is that? He killed a man. He should be like without pay, without nothing. He should be in jail.
This investigation into the actions of Officer Brown is being handled by the Michigan State Police. And on September 26th, they submitted a warrant request to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, who is currently reviewing the circumstances to determine if any criminal charges are warranted. We do have surveillance video of the incident, and there is body-worn camera footage of the incident. And if we could, I guess, play that, that will give you some insight as to what occurred.
After showing Officer Brown arrive on scene, they stopped playing the video for the public.
Excuse me, can we stop the video for a second?
Police.
I'm the police too. Shit, I ain't got shit to say.
I just realized I was expecting this to be a closed session. We have not had the opportunity to display this video to the family, and I think it'd be incredibly disrespectful for us to do it in this forum, in an open session.
Agreed.
At this time, it had been over a month since the incident, and I personally feel that it's more disrespectful that the footage had been withheld from the family and has still not been made public to this day. The sentiments are better said by this man, commenting on the rapid release of footage from a police shooting that occurred just 3 days prior to this meeting.
Just drop the knife for us, Porter.
Nearly 60 hours after Porter Burks was fatally shot by Detroit police, 5 minutes of crucial video has emerged, showing the fatal encounter and the moments before.
And how that footage had been made public almost immediately, regardless of the family of the deceased, when the homicide is favorable to the police.
The video we saw today was from September 1st of this year. They stopped it only because the family hadn't seen it. But surely by now, the video of Porter Brooks' murder could be seen by anybody and everybody. Stop using whatever excuse DPD gives you about there needs to be an investigation. When it's on your side, it never fails that you show it right away.
Same day.
Sorry about that. No, we are not going to accept it.
In December of 2023, 3 months after the incident, Officer Brown was finally criminally charged.
He's right about that. If it favors the police, the video comes out 48, 68 hours later. But when it looks bad for the police, they don't release it. We see part of the video here. It wasn't fully released. It seems to show what the cop does, like, to lead up to the murder, but it doesn't show the whole conversation. It doesn't show what happened later. It doesn't show the cop not rendering help for 20 minutes waiting for the ambulance. Like, they cut so much things out of this video just because it makes the cop look bad.
A Detroit police officer charged for killing an elderly man outside of a bowling alley.
Tonight, a Detroit police officer stands accused of killing an elderly man by punching him in the face.
The victim, a 71-year-old man named Daryl Vance.
The prosecutor says it was the officer who was the aggressor and escalated instead of diffused the situation with that 71-year-old man.
On the same day he was charged, the Detroit police finally fired Officer Brown.
Detroit Police Chief James White fired Brown, the chief talking about the tragic situation today.
I'm going to support the officers that do this great work and are committed to our community. And if there's anyone who falls below that, I'm going to hold them accountable.
These manslaughter charges led to that officer being fired, correct?
Well, that's what DPD is telling us. They're confirming that he has been fired as of tonight. That said, DPD also tells us that he is appealing that termination on the same night that Kim Worthy charged him with a 15-year felony.
He then appeared on Zoom for his arraignment.
You said Michigan versus Juwan Brown.
Judge, we would ask that the court set a reasonable bond and leave it in the court's discretion.
When we were made aware that charges were filed, we arranged to have Mr. Brown turn himself in to be arraigned today.
The court does not find that he's a flight risk nor a danger to the community. So for those reasons, the court was going to give Mr. Brown a $100,000 personal bond.
And just 1 month after being charged, Juwan Brown appeared before Judge Kenneth King. Judge King claimed that Daryl Vance threw the first punch and that Officer Brown was merely defending himself.
It's a very difficult situation because I do have a 70-year-old man that's now deceased. But the question is, did he cause his own peril? I saw a punch thrown. I know I'm not seeing things.
However,
this pig-sucking judge is seeing things. Because the only thing that the man did was push away the cop. He never threw a punch. So it wasn't self-defense.
However, in the footage made semi-public during this hearing, Daryl is never seen throwing a punch.
That was extreme excessive force.
I do not see a punch being thrown by Mr. Vance.
There was no punch thrown by the man, period.
I didn't see any physical attack on the officer. It appeared much more that the officer was the one doing the more aggressive moves.
I don't know if I'm ready to concede that that's excessive in light of the circumstances. I don't think that's excessive force. So as it relates to count one, the court is not satisfied that people have met their burden of probable cause.
36.
So this judge either a pig sucker, blind, or extremely stupid. But the cop was the aggressor the whole time. He put his hands up, he was pushing the guy, he stepped up to the guy with his fist clenched. When the guy pushed him away, the cop punched him. How is that not murder? How is that not the burden of proof?
District Court Judge Kenneth King dismissed all charges against Detroit police officer Juwan Brown, accused of involuntary manslaughter in the death of 70-year-old Darrell Vance.
Just 2 weeks after Judge King dismissed the charges, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office filed a claim of appeal, but we'll have to wait to see if Officer Brown is to face the court again. Juwan Brown was denied service in 2022 at Bar Louie while visiting the establishment with fellow officers. Somehow the meaningless event made the news, and when the bar made a public statement about retraining its staff, Juwan Brown had this to say about it.
It's nothing you could really give training on. It should come natural. Treating people like people is something that should just naturally be done.
Wise words from Juwan Brown, which is why he belongs in jail. Let me
Wow. Him talking about treating someone well, him talking about treating someone with respect.
know what you think of this in the comments below. Would you have gotten out on bail? And given what little video footage we've been given after the dubious efforts of the police to gatekeep the video, if this were you, do you think the charges would be dismissed? If and when this case is updated, I'll be sure to let you know. But until then, be sure to check out another video, linked on screen.
Well, this happened in 2023. I haven't found anything stating that he was charged again or they brought him to trial again. So I'm not sure what happened with the appeal. But for now, he's walking away free. Check out Lackluster's page. I'll leave a link in the description. He's very good at what he does. And I'll leave a link to the original video and a few articles that I found about it. What do you think of this? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.